You're listening to PartyNerdz Weekly.
Isn't he hungry? Cage Nerd is hungry now.
Party nerds in the house, welcome to the party! Woo! Guys, all right, I feel like this is our grand finale, even though we're going to be doing more shows after this, but we've been talking week after week about WandaVision, and we're just going to, we have a lot to talk about with this episode because there's a lot of things that I know you guys want to express. But before we do, let me introduce the cast. First of all, in the cleanest room in all America, psych, we have Jorge Freddy Krueger Vergara.
How you doing?
Evil one haunting people's dreams. It's kind of what you do. And then we also have with us the unicorn girl herself, that adventurer.
Hey, Dom!
Actually, no, we have Samantha. What's up, unicorn girl?
What's up? Just, unicorn things.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? You actually have pictures of you as Lara Croft, too. So you're also kind of like an adventurer. You're like Samantha Croft. And then we also have with us the guy with the fake bootleg wannabe Bravo beard, but he's giving it a good shot. Give it up for Dominic Charlin.
Are you ready?
He just became an Indian god all of a sudden.
Became Goro.
What's going on, Dom?
I had to shave recently, so I had to bring on my fake wannabe Bravo. I got it off his OnlyFans though.
Bravo, by the way, congrats to Bravo, who is our next guest on his OnlyFans, which officially hit 4 subscribers. 4 subscribers. Bravo, what's going on, man? And by the way, Bravo, we just had a fun weekend in Gettysburg. We actually had real ghost experience, like no bullshit, a real ghost experience.
Yeah, the funniest thing is we didn't realize it was in the picture until we posted it on Facebook. And a bunch of people are going, what's with the ghost? Did you guys put that in?
That's why I didn't even mention it. But literally, if you guys go on my Facebook, you see in our friend Chris's shirt a spirit girl. Like, no joke, no bullshit. It's crazy. Look at Sam's face. But guys, we have our special guest back. She is awesome. She is one of our favorite people. She is queen of cupcakes. She is the princess of muffins.
Yay, Dom!
I'm eating cookies.
And she has very nice cookies, by the way, guys.
I got all kinds of cookies.
That's all, folks.
All right, guys. So let's start off just leading into the fact that this final episode of WandaVision, we had such an unexpected death. Like, everybody thought all these things, but the one death that no one saw coming was all these fan theories died. They literally died. So what do you guys think about? Like Cindy, what you heard all these theories? Like did you think some of them were going to come true? What's your thought on that?
I think the biggest fucking troll of all was waiting for that one extra special guest that we were all like, it's going to be this person, it's going to be that person, and it was fucking nobody. I think that might have been the biggest disappointment of all. As far as theories, I figured not all of them were going to come true. I figured a lot of them were just, fan-based or comic-based or whatever. They weren't going to be able to fit all of that into one 50-minute episode. But what happened to the guest? What happened to even fucking Doctor Strange? Somebody, anybody?
So Dom, I see you got your background ready.
Are you ready?
We talk about what we think we want to have happen, but there's people out there with the leaks, with I got this on inside information that this is going to happen. Do you ever believe that?
Because all their inside information is off of like Facebook Marketplace. It's off some guy that they heard at the bus stop somewhere. Like, look, like we're all fans and we all talk about what we think is going to happen based off of the comics, the history, cartoons, source material. And then you get that one motherfucker that's like, I know a guy. He sold me a handbag in the back of a Buick on Franklin Avenue, and he told me that his cousin used to work with a guy. You know, it's like ridiculous. Listen, I think as fans, we all hope, right? We wanted to see Doctor Strange. We wanted to see Reed Richards. We want to see all these different things, but I think we also are grounded in reality. Some of this shit is just out of control. And I love the interview that Paul Bettany did where he was like, you know, the joke about the cameo was supposed to be me playing me as me, get a little bit out of hand. People are going to be really disappointed. But since Marvel has rope-a-doped us so many times over the years, we're like, that's bullshit. They really do have a cameo. What?
Bravo. Like, I mean, think about that. Is this kind of like the MCU's formula? Is it that during quarantine, everybody like wanted everything and they wanted it now? But as we know throughout the years with Marvel, they don't want to rush things. They take their time. They don't care if you have to wait 4 movies. They're going to tell you the story. Like, what do you think about that as far as them not giving people all the answers in this finale?
It was part of their formula and their idea to plant little things that could be theories. So everybody's talking about it. Everybody's building up. More people are getting interested in the older comics or the older characters. So they're looking into it. They're buying other merchandise and other comics and everything like that. And I think that they're utilizing the shows as little in-between fillers for the movies. They're standalones, and they have like, this was very clearly Wanda's story, but it was to set up like, why is she going to be so powerful? What is her connection with Doctor Strange and other things like that?
I mean, but so ultimately, like, Cindy, do you think that fans have a right? Because it's split down the middle. Do you guys agree? Some people love the ending and other people's like, oh, it sucked, blah, 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 because they had lofty expectations.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's all the hype that we gave it. I mean, it's our own fault. We hyped it up to make it seem like all these things were going to happen that didn't happen. But if you really look at it, the ending wasn't bad. It was not bad. It was a nice little closing while still leaving some things open for, you know, what's coming in the MCU world. Like, it's just, I don't want to say that it was an amazing episode, but I don't think it was terrible either. I don't think it was that bad. I mean, what did we expect to happen? She wasn't going to be able to be in this world forever. She wasn't going to be able to hold these people hostage forever. So it had to end at some point.
Now, Dom, let me ask you, because you're sitting on one of Wanda's TVs right now. What did you think about this episode? Because honestly, at the beginning, they gave you the action that people all, like, seem to want. All the Jorge's of the world, the Michael Bay fans. You know.
Michael Bay presents Explosions! Explosions from Michael Bay!
You got the boom, you got the fights. Like, how did you like that?
So, what's interesting about the cinematography and the fights, and Samantha and I had a conversation about this, is that, you know, they went right into the fighting, but then the fighting became, especially with the two visions, became the background to the primary story, which I think is Wanda's trauma.
Love has got the perfect plan. I finally come to understand you. Can never ask too much of love. Love forgives your greatest sin, with open arms to let you in. You can never ask too much of love.
Snap out of it.
Grief. I think that it was great because you got to see it right off the bat, and you knew it was happening. And then this is a show that makes you think. So even when you got to that final confrontation between what I guess you can call as Wanda's vision and then the actual vision, and they have the conversation about Theseus' ship, is very cerebral. This show has made you think every step of the way. And there's a line at the end of The Dark Knight where Heath Ledger says to Batman, "What do you think I was going to let you solve this with a fist fight for Gotham Soul?" This show is not about that. You know, that's what we're going to get with Falcon and Winter Soldier. This was a thoughtful show. It was a cerebral show, and it was an emotional show, and it was less about the conflict physically and more about the conflict internally.
And so, Samantha, I mean, you brought up a good point, Dom, talking about the grief. Like, I know you had a lot to say about how did this episode like touch you, like as far as knowing what the story's really about, which is the stages of grief.
Show us on the doll where it touched you.
I felt like this episode was the acceptance of the 5 stages. I do feel like also that one of the stages that we kind of counted out too was avoidance, because there was a lot of episodes where she was kind of avoiding it and knowing that she was doing it, but didn't really understand how she was doing it. I feel like I connected with it because there was quite a few things in there that hit home. The one thing that she says about when she's sitting with Vision on the bed, and it's the big quote that everybody kind of like passed around, but that wasn't the quote that actually hit me. What hit me is when she was explaining that she felt like a wave was washing over her every time, because that is what depression is. It's every time you feel like you have a grip on it, you constantly feel like you're getting knocked down again. And I feel like that is really what was going on in her mind, and that is what manifested everything.
Now, Bravo, can you expound on that? Because we talked about that too. I think you were the first one to actually mention weeks back that it seems like they were going through all the stages of the depression, or
I believe that they were going through all the steps of grief. It's one of those things where in order for somebody to get over a past trauma, they have to get through these 5 steps, eventually leading into acceptance. But some people get stuck at certain steps. Some people will get stuck at depression or at anger or at bargaining.
Or murder. I'm sorry.
But so there's definitely those stages of grief have been shown throughout WandaVision. And she finally did get to acceptance, and where she kind of discards her fake world and how she was coping with it to accept the fact that, she is alone right now. She did lose the things that were given to her and like the loves that she made across her life. And that, she did have a very difficult and shitty life growing up.
Now I have there's a couple little issues I have with it. Obviously, if us who are truest to the comics, how they made Agatha Harkness, she in this series, she's pretty much evil. Like it really was Agatha all along. Whereas in the comics, she's almost like a mentor. Like Dom, do you like kind of where they're going with the story, or do you think maybe in the future they're gonna maybe switch it up on her?
I don't know, man. When we talk about anytime the Marvel has addressed or adjusted something from comics canon, right? Whether it's the Mandarin, whether it's the Ten Rings, whether it's even Arnim Zola. They've done it for a reason. Arnim Zola?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking Cindy with cheese. Go ahead.
And on how long it is left to age. The two kinds are easily distinguishable by the color of their veins, blue in the creamy and green in the pungent.
Sorry.
Anytime they've adjusted something like that, it's always been for the better. It's always been for a good reason. I think that first off, the actress, phenomenal. I think that she killed it. She knocked it out of the park. And then I think that the combination, it was like almost like watching Bette Midler and Hocus Pocus, but modernized evil. It had the great humor, but still at the same time there was consequences. You could believe her. And I think that, let's be real, people don't give a shit about whether you stay true to the comics about Agatha Harkness, they don't.
Agatha.
So
yeah, I know you were a fan of this whole series, but like take for example, like the end of this, it's like you see all the townspeople coming in on Wanda. It's like they're pissed off. They're kind of like the nerve of you to get in our heads. And, she's almost like, but wait a minute. Like, do you see this now affecting these future projects? Do you think that they now look at her as superheroes as a threat?
Yeah. I feel like this might be like the new thing where it's going to be like, well, not everybody likes superheroes. Not everyone likes. It's almost like what Agatha said, no matter what century you're living in, there's always going to be a village of people that hate us.
Village people like YMCA?
Like,
Well, let's not forget that Wanda is also responsible for the Sokovia Accords going into effect as well.
Exactly.
With the explosion that happened, it was largely viewed that it was her fault, even though,
nobody knows what happened inside that dome aside from us, the viewer.
Exactly.
So it's definitely, they're definitely going to make Wanda out to be a massive villain. And I think, I agree. It's going to end up being that type of thing where it's now people are going to go, oh, well, you know what? If these freaks have powers and it affects us everyday people, what could we do against it?
It's lunchtime, you're hungry, we know how you feel. Your mouth wants Little Caesars, and your wallet wants a deal.
So Monica in the comic as Photon Spectrum, she can manipulate light because I feel like didn't her eyes change different colors when she had like a different power? I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like Sam, what did you think about that? Monica kind of flossing her powers ever so slightly?
Yeah.
There is one thing that bothered me, and it has nothing to do with the actor. It has nothing to do with how they wrote the character. It literally just has to do with how the cinematography and the stage setup was. When she stood to block the bullets from the children, they are 7 feet apart, and she stood in the dead center.
And they shot at her.
No sense to me.
First of all, it was very racial because she saw them protecting the children, but they shot right at her. She's in the middle, the kid here, and they're shooting at her. That's racial. They need to stop this MCU police. I'm sorry, Sword needs to chill.
I mean,
and Dom has Talos licking his armpits right now. I never want to dance again. How do you think they're going to segue into Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Do you think we're going to get a whole separate story, and then eventually in a future project they're going to are they making this like a puzzle? Like we got the witch, the mystical side of Marvel, but now when we do Falcon and Winter Soldier, we're probably going to go back to the espionage, like
more explosions.
Right, yeah, they're like, and Jorge be happy. It's almost like we're going to get our own Lethal Weapon, Danny Glover, Mel Gibson type of thing. But are they still going to, is that going to be separate, do you think, from what they're doing right now with the magic?
I don't fucking know.
Don't you think there'll be more tech, more tech and gadgets?
I agree with Jorge. I think what's happening is let's think about Marvel Phase 1, right? All of Phase 1 was Avengers Assemble, right? And then Phase 2 was now the Avengers are assembled, and now here are all their individual things that are going to build up into Age of Ultron, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Everything eventually built up towards Infinity War and Endgame. So now we got to rebuild. So what's the theme so far? Well, the last movie, again, Far From Home, Spider-Man's a villain. Wanda's a villain. In this new, in Cap and Winter Soldier, we already know that there's going to be, that there's, where is he? There's a new Cap in the U.S. agent, in John Walker, right? Who is a villain but is perceived to be the hero. So I think that over the course of the next couple of properties, and then remember Loki's after that, and whatever the fuck he's going to do. So over these next couple of properties, they're going to damage the credibility of heroes. They're going to blame everything that has happened from Ultron to Thanos on heroes. And this is where we might see them form the Martys, the Mutant Response Division, or the Superhuman, whatever they do is going to be against heroes. That'll be the second act. And then the third act, whatever comes after that, is going to bring them all back again.
All right, so before we go, I just want to put this out there too. First of all, Cindy, if you guys aren't following the Yummy Geek already, you guys are missing out. So Cindy, what have you made that's quite delicious recently? Have you been doing your twerking with cupcakes thing we talked about before?
I'm developing a PartyNerdz cupcake. I haven't completed it yet, but when I do, I'm definitely going to share it with you guys. The Wanda pancakes this weekend were fucking phenomenal. They were so damn good. The Wanda, you had Vision, you had Agatha, kind of pouring, little berry cream going on. It was really good.
Well, if you make anything based off of Darnell, make sure you use cornmeal.
Cornmeal and disappointment.
Guys, thank you for coming on tonight, guys. Great show. Party Nerds, we will see you guys soon. We will start talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, we're not doing that yet.
We are out. Party Nerds. Peace.